be here. I'm Shelley Butler.
I'm Yves Doucet.
Didn't sound very excited, did I?
I'm Yves Doucet. Say that again. Are you excited?
I, well, it's a day. I don't know if I'm excited, but
Why wouldn't you be excited today?
I don't know. Mondays are always my favorite day.
Except today?
Um, I love Mondays, to tell you the honest truth.
Except today.
I
Oh, that's a better picture. I can see
I'm
myself
not
feeling it.
festive. I'm not my usual
Why?
self.
Why?
Why aren't I my usual self?
Did somebody say something to you to offset your day?
No, I did a massive hit program. So I did so many burpees and so many push-ups before 7 a.m. today.
Lying. So, what did somebody say something
Lying.
offset today? Like you came, you were full of like somebody did say something that offset your day. Somebody said something yesterday that offset your day.
Oh no, yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, so we're going to talk about men.
Maybe.
Men.
We are talking about men today, not me and my attitude that I'm coming with. It's Men's Mental Health Month.
Oh, it's a whole month.
The whole month of
Wow.
June. Men's Mental Health Month.
Okay.
How do you feel about that?
I feel we don't need a month.
It's an awful long time, isn't it?
Oh,
I think
so
we're showcasing it though. I think that how many men can say, how many men can be vulnerable, first of all, right?
well,
Machismo.
well, very few people can be honest. Yeah. So is honesty vulnerability? Yes. In order for you to be, why aren't men vulnerable? So
Because
yesterday,
it's
so let me
weak.
tell you a little bit of a story about living in a man's world. In
Okay.
a man's world. So this weekend, I shared my emotions with a friend of mine. She's a she, and she sent me laughing my ass off. I said, okay. Now I want to hit her back, but I didn't. Right? I wanted to tell my piece, but I didn't. And I thought, well, okay, well, that's the last time I tell you how I feel.
Hmm.
So that's what men do. They try, doesn't work. You share a feeling, doesn't work, because when you show your vulnerability to a person that's close to you, they see it as weakness and they hit you. So they say, well, I'm not going to do that again. Why would I do that? It hurts. So they don't. They bottle it up.
Mm.
Angela asked me before the session, how does it feel to be in the man? Well, that's how it feels. So then you go and you say, I'll take care of it myself.
So
Right.
because of a text that said LMAO,
Well, she asked me, why am I doing something? And I shared my truth.
yeah, and she laughed at
I
you.
said, basically, I'm reacting. I'm having a reaction. That's like I could have said I'm angry. I could have said I'm mad, right? And she just laughed. I
She
said,
laughed.
okay,
Yeah.
well, yeah. Do I want to show weakness? No, a man wants to show strength. You want to show strength, right?
So does a woman.
Yeah, I totally agree.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm not disagreeing, but like if that question is asked for a man, I don't know what you're thinking, but my belief is that we're all humans. There shouldn't be a mental health month for men and a mental health month for women. We should
Yeah.
have a year of mental health and like show.
Every day should be about
So,
mental health. Yeah, for
so
for both. But I love the fact that they're showcasing it. I love the fact that we're discussing it now.
there's
It's
nothing.
uncomfortable.
Yeah, there's nothing. I agree. I think.
I don't even want to say anything, Eve, that would make a man near me
Okay,
feel weak.
so let's just think about that for a second. So is it my friend's issue that she laughed at me and I took it personally, or is it my
Yes,
issue?
it's your issue.
It's my issue.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
absolutely your issue.
Right.
The thing is I'm asking you to consider that your vulnerability made that woman feel like she did not want to make you any weaker. So she
Yeah.
left.
So what's next, right? So what's next is typically I'll the next step for me is I'll ask if you already knew the answer, if you're gonna laugh, why would I share anything? Like I'll just be honest. I'm
You
not
have to be at that
so
point.
that's what
Yeah.
happens to
Or
me.
lose a friendship.
Well,
Mm. it'll make you think, right? When people show you who they are, and if it's your perception, you got to be very clear, right? To make
This
sure.
has nothing to do with them. It has to do with me. That's what I learned, right? So during my time in depression, which I was severely depressed during my court case, right when I lost, and even during, it was all these feelings, and I developed these practices and these pillars in order to help myself. That's what men do. We build things. We come up with solutions. I think women do the same, by the way. I'm not saying they shouldn't. They don't. I said we have everything we need inside of us, as long as there's one person around us that'll say, I believe in you. And typically, funny thing is not necessarily the person that you think is going to be next to you. It's somebody else. That's what happens a lot of the time. But if you have this one person that believes in you, then you'll be able to figure it out yourself. Right.
Oh yeah.
And that's what happened to me. So so I went back to my practices. What do I do when I observe I'm in reaction? I say the truth. I'm in reaction. There's nothing else to say that I am in reaction. All the stories that come after that are just reaction. They're just reaction story. So the thing that I needed to do is to be by myself, like be by myself. Now men do that. If you've ever like heard of the man cave or like, men, when men go quiet, people ask me that. When men go quiet, what are you thinking? We're trying to resolve a problem. It's not that we don't care, or it's that we said, well, if we say this, how do we resolve the problem we're trying to solve? So men go quiet. If you have an argument with a man, he goes quiet. It's not that he doesn't care. It's not that he's not thinking about it. He's trying to resolve the problem. And maybe there's no solution. Typically, it comes as a doing. What skills do I have to resolve that problem? Sometimes it's not a therapeutic skill. Sometimes it's a physical skill. Let me go build that table for you, right? That's how we show that we're getting out of the hole, right?
Yeah, I believe that.
Right.
Yeah, I
That's what
believe
men
that.
do. So
Yeah.
it's not that men don't want to show their emotions, is that when we show our emotions, it's a sign of weakness. That's how we perceive it. Whether or not you do things or don't do things or say things or don't say things that make us believe that, that's not our issue. That's not your issue. That's our issue.
Yeah.
And we have to, and I believe, this is what I believe, that eventually all this like illness that we have in the society today, because it's caused by basically that we're constantly being triggered, if you want, by our emotions, our manliness not being enough. Eventually, men will succeed, and so will women. Will rise up from this emotional turmoil that we live in. We've never had in any other time in history a state where we have so much mental illness.
No, not even during our war times.
No.
Not even during war times. Men hid that as
Yeah.
much as they possibly could.
Well, you go and you do like, what's the solution to mental, fatigue? Do something. So in war, you're given an order. You don't think about it. You're not thinking. You're just going, right? When you stop going to war, when you stop fighting, that's when the mental like fatigue comes in, mental illness comes in.
Yeah.
Right. So we come back from war, and then we start remembering all these things that we did, and then we start to have remorse about what we did.
Mm.
So some people think that the solution is to force men to become women, to talk about emotions, to share emotions. No, like they have to be men. Allow men to be men.
Yeah.
If you
But
look,
what does that even mean? What does that
mean
even
to be a woman?
like when you say that? Do you know what comes to my mind?
What?
Allow men to take out the garbage, to mow the lawn, to fix
So
the
what are all those
thing,
things? What are all those things?
chores.
Another
Their
description.
actions.
Another description for that. What do they do for you?
What does a man do for me?
Yeah.
What does my man do for me?
Yeah.
All of those things.
Yeah. So
He
he's
takes care of
service.
me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the purpose of a man, to be
Yeah.
of service.
He takes care of me.
The purpose of a woman, I'm being general here, right? Generally, like there's nuances of it, but generally the purpose of a man
Yeah.
is to be of service.
Yeah.
When he doesn't feel he's of service, he
Yeah.
doesn't feel he's enough. If he's not enough, he's going to work harder and harder and harder. And he's going to stop like sharing his emotions with you because he's going to work harder and harder and harder and harder until he breaks.
So is that why we're seeing so much mental illness in men right now? Because
they can't be of
women,
service.
because women are doing all those things. We're jumping on the tractor.
No, They just don't know how to be of service. There used to be like it used to be very simple for men. Go get the meat, right? Go hunt, get the meat, come back, bring the meat. Women would cook it. That was like it before. And after that is go get the job. So now how are men being of service? They're like they're confused. That's why young men are dropping out of school. There's no place for them anymore because school is made for women, not for men. It's a
Mm,
community.
I don't think school is made for anybody myself, uh, but yes, perhaps. Yeah, perhaps. It's hard to be an individual. They want you to conform, and women perhaps are a little bit better at conforming because we've always had to conform.
Well, if you look at
We're at a crossroads.
if you look at typically what happens when um there's a way to huh? Nice cup.
Thanks.
It's the wrong color.
Thanks. Positive vibes only.
Oh. It's my so it's for me, I can't speak for all men. So I'm speaking for me. For me, it's always how do I be of service? And if I can't be of service, then okay, I'll look for another place to be of service.
Mm-hmm.
So for this particular chore, this discussion I was in yesterday, the reason I was in reaction, I went into my hole and didn't sleep last night, right? It's because I was thinking I'm not of service. I can't be enough. But at the end of the day, what I decided to do yesterday was the right thing. I'd say, well, if I'm not of service, because I'm sharing that I'm reacting for a reason, and I can't be a coach, I can't be a leader, I can't be of service there, I can't fix your table, I can't take out the garbage, I'm going to go somewhere else and be of service. That's what I decided to do.
Awesome.
Right. So, and that's what men are doing. If I can't be of service to you, I'll go find someone else to be of service to.
Yep.
Right.
Yeah.
So when
and that's not a sexual threat.
No, 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 no.
Because it kind of sounded that way.
I did.
Kind of sounded that way. But that
Well,
could be
maybe
my
it is too. Like I'm not that's part of it too, right?
Is it?
Possibly. Yeah.
Possibly.
Yeah. Why not?
Okay. Okay.
Men need to be of service. Absolutely.
Okay.
And it goes with it. Like intimacy goes with being part of service. Yes, 100%.
Okay.
If I can't be of service to you, if you don't appreciate what I'm doing, and you
Yeah.
don't tell me how I can help, what can I do to help? Right. So, right.
So is that what you really want? You really want us to tell you how you can be of service to us?
Men want to be protectors.
Yeah.
Men want to be the providers.
Yeah.
Right. Men want to be of service.
So if a man is not a provider, if a man is not the provider,
define provider.
Okay, yeah, I could ask you the same thing. So for me, provider means that you are the sole breadwinner
No,
in the family.
It could be provider, could be I'm there for you spiritually. Like you're the provider, and I'm going there to defend your honor, your name, and I'm providing space for you.
Can men manage that? Can men manage if they are not the provider? Do you believe that that is something that is being taken away from men? Do you think that's a big piece of the mental health that we're seeing today? That because men are no longer necessarily the number one breadwinner, do you believe that that is put them behind some kind of weird?
Well, it's because it was defined in a certain way. Provide like you're defining providing in a certain way. Providing mean money, right? You're saying if I'm a provider means
the
money.
king of the house.
Yeah. So I think men are adapting. They're saying, okay, well, I can't be a provider anymore. I can't be the main provider. So what else can I be? And they provide other ways.
Okay.
Right.
And that's okay, as long as they can provide
It's
other
still
ways.
providing.
Yeah.
Like you can provide moral support. You can provide emotional support. You can provide, right? You can be of service in different ways. Like
Absolutely.
you can provide physically. You can provide tables. You can provide, fix things. You can, right? You can provide. You can open the jar. Some men can't open a jar, so they provide other ways.
Yep.
So that's what's happening. I'm not saying it's good or bad. I'm just saying it's happening. It's happening. They're finding a way to provide, right?
Yep.
But if you're looking for a relationship, like so men typically want to provide, be of service, and women typically want to build a safe environment.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So if you change the wording of like, okay, how can you provide? I want to create a safe environment. Okay, how can I help you create this safe environment? And I'll bring my tool set with that.
Yeah.
So when I got into my deep depression, it's because I couldn't provide. I couldn't provide, like I wasn't enough. So how wasn't that enough? Well, for example, my dad didn't come to my court. Like he never came to court, never could show up in court. I felt not enough because my dad was shameful of me. Not he didn't come to court. Well, that has nothing to do with money. It had to do with the fact that my dad can't be proud of me.
Yeah,
Right. Now, was he proud of me? Was he not proud of
absolutely.
it? Like all these things. Well, that's not about him. That's about me. It's me thinking or reacting to the fact that I see one thing that he's doing and saying, I'm putting everything in that thing. Right.
Yeah,
Right. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, absolutely.
So
Absolutely. We tend to do that to ourselves, right? We tend to decide what that person's thinking, right? We have no idea what your dad actually felt
no,
about that court date, those court dates,
no, I never asked.
right? For
Mm.
fear of the answer.
It never occurred to me to ask.
Okay. Or for fear of the answer. You and I talked about that an awful lot during that time.
Did I have fear of the answer? I don't know. I can't recall, but I never asked.
Hmm.
Yeah. Or
Yeah.
maybe you're right. I didn't want to know.
Well, it's a discussion that, yeah, it's a discussion that it could take you down, right? Because if he answered and he said, I don't believe that this court case
Yeah,
is
that's
going to
interesting.
serve you well.
That's interesting. Like, what did I do? Well, instead of asking him, I fought harder. This is what men do. We dig ourselves even deeper. We'll work 10 times harder.
Yeah.
Instead of asking, how can I be of service? We say, let me give you the solution that I think you need.
Yeah. We're
Right.
looking for, proud of you. I'm proud of you.
Right.
Attaboy. We're looking for those things, but we're not asking for those things. And then we think that we know what's going on in their heads
So, like, when you're talking about this stuff, I think that the revolution that has to happen for both men and women is at the school level. In Germany,
at the school level.
we need to understand how the brain works. We don't understand how the brain works in school. Like we don't teach our kids how the brain works, how
Well,
you
no, we're
form up.
just finding out how the brain works now, actually. When you look at Dr.
True.
Greg Wells, I mean, he is doing some research that is, I mean, we had no idea. I mean, it wasn't that long ago that we believed that we could regenerate a brain cell. They were told like once they're dead, they're dead. They didn't know
But
that you could make new neural pathways.
well, they teach this in Germany in school. They teach us to kids how propaganda or marketing works.
Yeah,
They
that's
teach
good.
that. They
Yeah.
teach that how the brain works, how you learn things. If you're exposed to the same message over and over and over,
Yeah.
this is a man, this is a man, this is a man. Well, you start to believe that this is what a man does, right?
Yeah.
So whether or not you could say it's propaganda, it's social, it's kind of you're being manipulated. But at the end of the day, if you're exposed to seeing something all the time, you're going to start to believe it, right?
Well, we see that happening in the United States
Yes,
daily.
and this is what causes the dis-ease.
It does.
You have this expectation of this is what a man is, the
Yeah.
provider in a certain way, whatever that provider is in a certain way, and then reality shows you something different, and that creates the disease between reality and your imaginary mind, right? Your delusional mind.
Yeah.
This is what I call a reaction.
It is. It's actually completely reaction. And how do we get over our reactions? How do we just be vulnerable and just express our truths? It's okay, honey, that you don't make the money more money than me. Like I am totally
That's not
okay
going to
with
do
that.
anything. It
Well,
doesn't matter what you think.
oh no, exactly. But the conversation has to start someplace. So we can actually stop the narrative, stop the internal narratives that
See, that
continue
would
to
be a
go on.
women's solution,
Ah.
right? Let's talk about everything.
Yeah.
No, let me figure out my own problem.
So you don't, so men don't think, okay, that woman is thinking I'm less than because I'm not bringing home the bacon. You guys don't have that. You guys don't go there. My woman doesn't think that I'm the provider because I don't um paint houses well, or I don't I can't I have to hire somebody to fix the taps. You guys don't think like that.
Okay, the way we think is this way.
Hmm.
Let's say you ask me to take out the garbage,
Hmm.
right? And I take out the garbage
Hmm.
and I go back in and then you give me another thing to do. I think I can't do enough for you. I'll never satisfy you. Nothing's ever enough.
Mm. Maybe that's why my husband 20 some years ago went, don't ever, ever give me a honeydew list.
Yeah, that's why. Because it's never ending.
It made him feel terrible
You make us feel like nothing.
because I used to.
Yeah, like a to-do list. And keep in mind that we can't see your face.
Oh, hi.
Sorry.
I
I don't
forget sometimes.
you can hide your cup in your bottle. I
I
just don't want to see your face.
okay, sorry. I was like, I forget sometimes we're live.
Sorry.
Even I
Yeah.
often
We're
talk just like this. Yeah.
So a honey-do list,
Mhm.
if you have to-do list,
Mhm.
right, is the worst thing you can do to anyone, actually. Not even
Isn't it?
of course. We know we build timesheet software. We know this. If you give them a list of 10 thing, they'll be deflated. Give them one thing. And when you've done one thing, help them celebrate that one thing. Like it doesn't mean, oh my God, you're so good to take out the garbage. That's not what I'm talking about. Right?
Yeah.
Create some space between the thing that he's done and then let him do something for himself. Maybe he wants to do something, whatever he wants to do. And then later on say, hey, could you help me out? Right?
Yeah.
How can it be of service? Let him be of service. Right?
I do because I tell you it works the other way too. So I was lifting a lot of dirt, those big 40-pound bags of dirt, trying to slice those open and lift.
Yeah.
And he was fit to be tied, right? Like he didn't realize that I was doing that. He looks out, he's like, seriously, Shelley, seriously, right?
Yeah. So you're taking his job.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I took his job and I was just like, could I have done all the bags? Hmm. But did I welcome him?
Could you do something else?
I did go do something
Yeah.
else. Yeah.
Yeah.
I welcomed him into the fold, but I wasn't going to ask him. He was doing something. I wasn't going to ask him to stop what he was doing to go do those bags.
So I
I can
think
do
this
those
goes for
bags.
both relationship. When you look at somebody doing something,
Hmm.
right?
Hmm.
You can you can always ask yourself, how can I help? How can I be of service? How can I bring my skill, my thing that I
Hmm.
love doing into the foe, right? And that's the job. It's a job of both partners. It's not only one-sided, right? It's a job of saying, okay, well, how can I? He's got this under control. Do you need any help? He says no. He said no, except no,
Oh, and I
right?
absolutely do. And I'm going to tell you the truth here. Like, while I can lift the 40-pound bags,
Mhm.
I have no troubles doing that. My husband was sick last year and couldn't lift even a pound. So I had to do things that I had never really done. And we've been married for 36 years. And what I realized the first time I had to take the garbage out was I had never taken the garbage out. So when I went in to go and take the garbage out,
Yeah.
right, and he's particular about the garbage for the garbage man. He likes it to come out a certain way. I had to go in and say to him, which can do I use?
Perfect.
And yeah.
He's being of service.
So I have never in all the years I've been married taken out the garbage until I had to. Isn't that weird? Never even realized that I never did it.
Well, maybe not. Maybe that's why you have a marriage so long.
Maybe, maybe. So we have very, very,
Specific tasks.
I do the women stuff and he does
Yeah. So
the man stuff. So we have traditional roles, but yet we cook together. But he's never cleaned a crapper. And I would never ask him to.
yeah. So it's like yeah. So it just works. I don't know. Yeah. You have to be malleable and see yourself. Am I saying this or doing this because I'm afraid to or because I'm not like where is this like wanting to do something or wanting to be something coming from? I think we're all relationships. It's not looking at the other person and say what's wrong with that person. It's looking at yourself as why am I reacting this way? Why am I acting this way?
Yeah.
I don't want to have that conversation. I don't want to have a conversation about, oh, you're feeling this way because nobody wants to be psychoanalyzed
Nobody does.
unless
Nobody wants a coach unless they
right,
ask for a
unless they
coach.
ask for it.
Yeah,
Right?
absolutely. Agreed.
Are you hot?
Hot flash. We knew it wouldn't be long.
So for me, it's just for me, right? What got me down was like I never had a moment to breathe. So what happens is I escape my house.
Yeah.
So I didn't want to go home because as soon as I go home, here comes the list.
Here comes a list.
Here comes the list, right?
Maybe that's one thing that Leonard
when
did
we
that was
get
right.
out, when we go out in public, here comes a list of things that I've done bad. I should have said, should sit straight. I should drink this way. I should
Oh,
have this cup. You know that feeling? My
oh.
hair should be this way, or I should behave this way. I shouldn't say these things.
My husband doesn't. My mother does that to me.
How does
Yeah.
that make you feel?
Resentful.
How does that
I
make you
can't
feel?
even tell you how resentful it makes me feel.
Yeah, so that's what we do to men.
Yeah.
Let me change you to the perfect man.
Yeah. What made any woman think that they could change another human being, though? What
Well,
happened there? Why do, because I see
well,
this
just
all the time with my friends. They're pretty sure
well,
that they can change them.
if you just look at if you just look at long-term relationships,
Okay.
like women will start now verbally, right, and publicly shaming the man. Have you noticed that? Oh, this guy, he dresses so badly. Oh my God. Look at his hair. Like, can you imagine what he's doing here? Like they talk bad about their man.
Yep. Yeah, they do. They do.
And then they wonder, why do men, be bad, become bad? Because we don't understand how the brain works. It's not the women's fault. It's not the man's fault either. We just don't understand. The brain does not understand the difference between good or bad, negative or positive. It just understands practice. So if you shame your man, he'll become shame. If you shame your women, she'll become shame.
Yeah.
Whatever you practice with them, they'll become. The brain does not understand. Try not to think of the person that triggers you. Too late.
Too late.
Try not to think of the person that triggered you.
Yeah, too late.
Right? The
Yeah.
brain goes automatically there. Oh, you
It
thought of
does.
somebody right away, right? Try not to think of the pizza. Too late. So when I coach people and they want to stop dieting, or they want to stop eating, or they want to put a new habit, I just put the habit in front of a habit they already have. That's all. And it's a practice. The practice is you practice whatever you practice, you become. And we don't know that we've been practicing this reaction, these words, right? I remember when we went to Barry Baptiste, I think it was a level 2 or something. Maybe it was another, and we put stickers on our, like every time somebody would say something, we put a sticker. Oh, you're talking about yourself. You're talking about yourself. Little stickers, right? And at the end of the day, red stickers meant you're talking bad about yourself or someone else. And green stickers we're saying you're talking good about something. Well, we're all red. We're a few green stickers. Our words, which basically are words, what we say about ourselves and what we say about others, are so negative, right?
So negative.
We become what we practice.
Yeah, I'm
Right?
terrible. I'm
So
terrible
when
for personal
this is
self-talk.
why we don't gossip at Dovico.
No
That's
gossip.
what we don't blame. And
Yeah.
the fundamentally reason for that, when we do that, what happens, we become what we practice.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So if you're looking at your partner, business partner, intimate partner, and you start thinking about like what you're practicing when you see that person, that man, because we're talking about men's health, right? Like I invite you to journal about what you see and what your words are about that person. And when you see in that person, you're actually practicing that person become that, because you're telling him that's what he is.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
And you're absolutely right, Eve. Women, when they get together, it's a terrible herd mentality and they talk poorly about their men. And if that doesn't come through to your man, that energy, because it will. It will. That
Yeah.
when you come home from that session with your gals and you have done nothing but destroy your partner, yeah, it's a terrible thing. And
So
I've watched it.
So here's a good thing. Here's the good news.
Okay.
Okay. The good news for guys is like you don't need to change your women for you to heal. You only need to change your thought about yourself.
Yes.
Because I was there. I was there in that relationship where we couldn't go out to play a deck of cards, and all the women around, including my wife, would talk negatively about us, right? And I told myself one day, I said, well, I don't want to be that man. Okay. So what I started to do is practice something else. What I started to do is practice being enough for me. What I started to do is not do things for anyone else, but for me. What I mean by that is I choose which chore I'm going to do. I choose how I'm going, who I'm going to hang around with. So when I'm triggered a lot by things, I move to another place. I go, I'm triggered, I'm reacting, I'm going to go practice being a man.
Yeah.
What does that mean? Well, that could be like the example I give is this. I had this shower that needed to be fixed. I couldn't figure out how to fix it. 15 years it was. It was one project. I probably had thousands of projects I never finished. That is a sign of a broken man. When you have a lot of projects that are not finished, that man is so low, right, that he's able to go in depression. So what did I do? I took one step at a time. So I would go into the shower. No matter what my wife would tell me, I would say, the one thing I'm going to do today is work on that shower. Maybe I'll do other things, but I am going to work on that shower. I would take the smallest of step, like it could be putting 2 towels down. And I would sit there and say, I'm going to put 2 towels down. When I couldn't do two, I'll do one. When I couldn't do one, I'd do just the mud. I'll just do one thing. And every time I would do something, I'd sit in that shower, take a glass of wine, and celebrate every single time.
Yeah.
I wasn't waiting for the glorious day when somebody said, "Oh my God, you're such a good man." Oh, no, I sat in that and I said, I am proud of myself because I discovered something about myself. And then things started to roll. I had 2 towels, 5 towels, and I must have did that shower floor 4 times. Like I destroyed it again and did it again. And just I was looking for details. I was looking for perfection. I was looking to be happy with the work that I did.
Mm.
And then one at a time, these projects starts to go. I wasn't looking for outside validation anymore.
Yes.
Right.
Yes. Yeah.
So
Well,
so one of the things I can share with you guys, like from a guy perspective, is we're looking for validation to be enough from the outside world. Cars. I heard this guy the other day. Oh my God, I just brought this McLaren. And the nice thing with this McLaren is I drive and the young boys are saying, good job, rev the engine. He's looking for outside validation.
yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
You'll never find love there. You'll never find enough there. Outside validation will never solve your problem. It doesn't matter if it's a car, right? It doesn't matter if it's a woman or a house or a friendship. You have to be okay with who you are. Now, I heard this young man from Africa, yeah, like probably 13. He said, I look at myself in the mirror every day and say, I'm handsome, I'm beautiful, I'm powerful, I know who I am. You know,
Yeah.
looks like,
Yeah.
and he actually believes it. He's like 12 years old, like
Yeah.
something like that. Like, and he was speaking and said, I don't need validation from anyone. Okay.
That's what
Now,
these kids are
right
learning.
now, you've heard the same thing for women, right? Women do the same thing,
Absolutely.
right?
Yep.
So if you start practicing that you are enough as you are, you'll be enough for anyone,
Yeah.
right? That's it. It's
Yeah.
just a practice.
It is.
If
It's a
you,
practice and it takes a long time, but it
it's a
is so
practice
worth
though.
it is a
Practice.
journey. And it's like you say, no matter what I say to you, oh, Eve, you are a servant. Oh, Eve, you should don't be in outside,
Don't be react. Don't be
outside,
angry.
outside service, outside, help is not nearly as good as you working on yourself. It
Absolutely
is
not.
so difficult to
Yeah.
actually work on ourselves because what's easy is we see somebody else who's flailing or failing or not working hard on their journey, and we're able to say, oh, let me help you, let me take away from me, and I'm going to put everything into you, right,
Yeah.
by trying to be
Yes.
that servant. But in actuality, we're not doing anybody any favors there. We have to work on ourselves
Absolutely.
for first.
So
Yeah.
let
Yeah.
me do
Sum it up.
something for you, or just summarize. So if you have a partner that's a guy, like in business or in intimacy, and he wants to take some time. In other words, he climbs up, he doesn't say anything.
Mhm.
When he's done with it, right?
Yep.
Just welcome him back.
Yeah.
Don't ask him what he thought about, what his solution was. Like all he's doing is creating space for
Mhm.
himself to solve the problem. Be an observation of say, okay, thank you, right? Thank you for being kind enough to me to take time for yourself. So
That's
that's one.
beautiful.
So give space, right? So that's one. Accept the person as they are. And this is just good for it doesn't matter. Like the person is doing this is what we learn in coaching a lot. Like meet the person where they are. If
That's
they're
it.
there, they're there. Accept them where they are.
Yeah.
They'll find their path. Nothing will change a person faster than acceptance.
So true.
Nothing.
Yeah.
Nothing will change a person faster than acceptance. That's number two, right? And number three, I would say, um, Well, take the same advice for yourself. Yeah. And I'm gonna add this: if you're out there and you have questions or you want to talk about things, you want my help, I can share my experience with you. I'd be more than happy to do that. Just reach out. I'm here for any one of it.
Absolutely.
I have a new one.
Eve
I'm
is
there.
an amazing coach, both for men and women. He's been working with an awful lot lately, and I've had people reach out to me to say how
Mm.
fortunate I am to have this service in my life every day. So, yes, Eve is here. He's in our city, and he is, yeah, he's like a mobile. What do you call it? You're like a little
Well, but
mobile social worker.
no, I'm not a social worker.
Mobile,
Give me a
not a
mobile
social
friend.
worker, but
Yeah, what that?
yeah, you are definitely a mobile friend. And, you certainly helped me over the years. I love that we're focusing on Men's Mental Health Month. We're
Yes.
going to try to get a little panel with a bunch of men here next
Oh, that could be
Monday.
fun.
Yeah, yeah, we'll try to set
And
that up and
if you want to be part of the panel, right?
reach out.
Reach out next week. We have a few guests we're gonna come in from Doviconians. I would love to have a few people from the outside world, and we'll
Yeah,
have some questions and talk about stuff.
that's
Yeah,
fantastic. DM, PM, whatever you want to do, we are here and we
PM.
would
What's
love to
PM?
have you private message,
Oh, and DM.
direct message.
Okay, and is there a IM? Indirect message?
I am.
Energy message?
Okay.
And
And
what else is going on
you have a webinar coming up. We'll announce that.
next week?
Is that next week? What's
Next
it
week?
called?
I don't know. I
Okay.
should know
We
that.
have a webinar coming up and
Next
it'll
week.
be Tuesday,
Yeah.
1:30 Eastern time, right?
It has to do with
Or
something
Atlantic.
about how to like create an engaged workforce. How to get out of a team that's stuck.
Oh yeah, that's
Yeah.
right. It's
And I have
what
a
do you do if
guest.
you're stuck?
What do you do if you or your team is stuck?
Oh yeah, that's
Yeah.
going to be excellent. Oh, where here it is. Breaking free strategies to get your team
Unstuck. That's a
unstuck.
great title. Thank you, Leandra.
Love. Yeah, thank you, Leandra.
She's got this way of words.
She does.
Yeah,
She
it's good.
does.
Yeah,
Absolutely
words connect.
amazing. All right. We are more than at the top of the hour. So, oh yeah, with Ida Noon.
Mm,
Yeah, that's going to be amazing. She is a CEO, fantabulous. So that will be a beautiful discussion. Again, is it it's 1:30 Atlantic, 12:30 Eastern.
that's correct.
Yeah, that's correct. Okay. I'm Shelley Butler,
I'm Yves Doucet.
and this has been Mindset Monday. Mwah. Love ya. Get your workout in.